people of Los Angeles can't do anything but scramble to safety as a series of unexplained attacks happened in the middle of the night. Well, at least that's what happened in the 2011 film Battle Los Angeles. But what if, like in the movie, aliens would enter the Earth's orbit and we wouldn't know until they're really, really close, and we can no longer make preparations for it? This news may have been broadcasted by several media outlets, but it was shrugged off by many as a waste of time.
Unidentified aerial phenomena, also known as UAPs, or used to be known as UFOs, amid growing public interest about potential extraterrestrial life beyond planet Earth.
But what if extraterrestrial life, or beings, aliens basically, showed up on Earth in mass numbers and started to roam in public? What would happen to us? More than that, how would we defend ourselves if necessary? No one can or would say for sure that the chances of this happening are close to none. Even NASA said that although extraterrestrial life has never been discovered, that doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Can't yet say for sure whether or not aliens exist. But to quote Carl Sagan, the universe is a pretty big place. If it's just us, it seems like an awful waste of space. So, we will keep looking.
They could be living in a world that may or may not be similar to ours. It is also quite possible that there are things they can do that we can't do, or the other way around. But if they do exist, where are they? According to observations made primarily with the Kepler Space Telescope, the Milky Way contains no fewer than 1 billion Earth-sized planets orbiting Sun-like or smaller stars in the Goldilocks region that allows for liquid water to exist on the planet's surface. As science fiction author and former Planetary Society board member Arthur C. Clarke said, "Two possibilities exist. Either we are alone in the universe or we are not. Both are equally terrifying." Take Proxima Centauri b, for example. It is our closest known exoplanet neighbor according to NASA's Astrophysics Division. Let's imagine that Proxima Centauri b, only 4 light-years away from Earth, hosts alien life. Then, one day, they decide to travel to Earth, for whatever reason they have. Of course, NASA would be able to pick up on the signal, especially since they are always closely monitoring any and all signals that are not from our atmosphere. So, once they detect a signal from the Proximians, let's call them, the experts would conduct necessary studies to know if it is a new threat or a UFO that has already been detected in the past. Now, assuming that they pose a threat to the Earth and its inhabitants, these experts would have to inform the respective leaders of each government around the globe. That said, we should always be prepared for how we would protect and defend ourselves from alien invaders if it ever comes to that. Let's take a look at the film Battle Los Angeles again. This is for sure the worst way that aliens could make their first contact with us. In the film, people were unprepared and caught unaware. The entire world is in chaos. The lesson from that is to be prepared to fight for our life, the human race, and our planet. For that, you don't need to look long and hard, as authors Travis Taylor and Bob Bone have already outlined the things we need to know in case of an alien invasion. In their book, An Introduction to Planetary Defense, a graphic illustration of what a possible conflict between humans and aliens might or will look like. Taylor even filmed a video, both a warning and a welcome to aliens, just in case they receive his signal.
If anybody shows up and tries to impose things on us, cultural or alien concepts that are something against what we're all about, we will make darn sure to activate our warfare-making machine.
In 2021, Taylor and Bone started thinking about how to respond to an aggressive extraterrestrial attack during a discussion about defending against terrorist attacks. One thing that popped into my mind was that the only way Americans would be in an asymmetric war on the other side would be if we were attacked by aliens. Everyone chuckled, but then, after a minute, the comments started setting in. Failure to prepare for a possible alien invasion may mean mankind will have to dig in and fight with improvised weapons and hit-and-run tactics, much the same way Islamic extremists have battled the US military in Iraq, Taylor said. You'd have to create an insurgency, a mujahideen-type resistance. The insurgents know how to win this war against us. It also tells us that if we were attacked by aliens, this is our best defense. For context, the Mujahideen-type resistance Taylor mentioned basically refers to the way Muslims fought hard on behalf of the faith or the Muslim community in the early centuries. At the time, the Mujahideen of the people engaged in a long-term guerrilla war against the leadership of the Islamic Republic. Simply put, Taylor means that if we ever came to a point where our existence is threatened by extraterrestrial beings, we have to be ready to fight as hard as we can, using anything we can to make sure we emerge victorious. Others have also given points to remember if aliens attack. First rule, don't touch them or communicate with them. They may be carrying some otherworldly germs that could become an incurable virus, or they might be able to learn a huge amount of biological or even psychological data from us through touch alone. Either way, if you get too close, you'll put the whole of humanity at risk. So, as a precaution, the U.S. extraterrestrial exposure law stated that NASA had the power to impound anyone who's found to have come into physical contact with an alien or UFO. That said, this goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway. If you see an alien, stay away. And if you somehow found a way to communicate with them, don't. The U.S. also has laws against contacting aliens or UFOs. People across the globe who don't have this law would do well to do the same. The next thing you need to do is organize your supplies. In case of an alien invasion, the aliens aren't the only enemy. The unholy trinity of death poses as much threat to your life as the aliens do. Dehydration, starvation, and cold. If you can't eat, drink, and stay warm while you're hiding from aliens, then you're pretty much done for. So think about getting a good supply of food and water, as well as making a plan for rationing out your supplies so they last. The third step is to develop a code. When you don't know your enemy, the aliens in this instance, the best defense is invisibility. By staying hidden, you have the chance to learn about the invaders without them learning about you, which could give you the upper hand, tactically speaking. However, there's a downside to that. Your communication to fellow humankind will be very limited, if any at all. That said, you'll need to find a way to communicate with others under attack, or you'll risk facing the aliens alone. Obviously, emails, texts, or calls are out of the options as there might be power cuts and telephone interference. So, as early as now, crack out an uncrackable code. 4. Think offense, not defense. As they say, the best defense is a good offense. Although this probably would be the strategy of the Defense Department of each country, it wouldn't hurt for a civilian to be prepared to take offense when the worst comes to worst. But remember the first reminder, do not in any way touch them. There are a lot of options for this. Bombs, guns, or as sci-fi movies have shown, you can also use music, water, deadly laser beams, or simply outsmart them. Finally, be prepared to be among the last men standing. Safety in numbers no longer applies. You have to stay stealthy and out of sight. You have to keep moving. And you probably have to travel alone. Be armed and ready to run at any moment. Have you ever wondered what advanced aliens would look like? Watch this video to find out.